Preview.
President Trump speaking to reporters in the lobby of Trump Tower in Manhattan on Tuesday. Talking about the removal of Confederate monuments, he said, "I wonder, is it George Washington next week?" Early this morning, the city of Baltimore took down several Confederate monuments. Al Drago for the New York Times. Want to get this briefing by email? Here's the sign up. Good morning. Before we begin, we wanted to tell you about a new feature for iPhone and iPad users. You can now set up a notification to alert you whenever a new briefing is published. Tap the bell at the top right on the home screen of the Times' app to sign up. Android users already have this ability. Here's what you need to know. White supremacists rejoice. Thank you, President Trump, for your honesty, courage to tell the truth. David Duke, a former Ku Klux Klan leader, said on Twitter on Tuesday. Trump's statement was fair and down to earth, tweeted another white nationalist leader who participated in last weekend's demonstrations in Charlottesville, VA. Their remarks came after a wild shouting match of a news conference during which the president again blamed both sides for the deadly violence, equating activists protesting racism with neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Read and watch Mr. Trump's comments here. What about the alt-left, he asked. Here's an answer. After adopting a unifying tone on Monday, saying that racism is evil, the president reverted to a more familiar Trump approach on Tuesday, our White House correspondents write. TV hosts were stunned. Business leaders protested, and historians were left trying to explain costs of letting the health law fail. President Trump has threatened to end some subsidies to insurance companies as part of a strategy to let Obamacare implode. We looked at what would happen if he did. Premiums for the most popular insurance plans would shoot up 20% next year, and the federal budget deficit would increase $194 billion in the coming decade, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said on Tuesday. GOP runoff in Alabama primary. Roy Moore, a former Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court, will face Senator Luther Strange, who was appointed to fill the seat vacated by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and who is backed by President Trump. The Republican runoff is September 26. A city turned to mud. Rain in Freetown, Sierra Leone, caused mudslides that killed hundreds and left many more missing or homeless. The Kai family's home was destroyed on Monday in Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone. Jane Hahn for the New York Times. The Daily, your audio news report. On today's show, we discuss President Trump's tense news conference on Tuesday. Listen on a computer, an iOS device or an Android device. Business. A ceiling fan manufacturer in Lexington, Kentucky, offers proof that obituaries for American manufacturing are premature. But as the Trump administration begins renegotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement, company executives worry about potential new impediments to trade. Airlines have a dress code of sorts. Dressing up could increase your chances of an upgrade. U.S. stocks were mixed on Tuesday. Here's a snapshot of global markets. Smarter living tips, both new and old, for a more fulfilling life. Maybe you don't need iodized salt. Recipe of the day. If you have a pressure cooker, put it to work with this excellent black bean soup. Noteworthy. Can algorithms fly a plane? In today's 360 video, take to the skies with a glider, built by Microsoft, that is guided by artificial intelligence. Bhutan holds its breath. China and India, the world's two most populous nations, have taken their battle for regional dominance to the remote kingdom of Bhutan, evoking memories of their bloody conflict in 1962. There are fears that ambition and nationalism could lead them to war again, but with more firepower at their disposal, a whiskey crusade. When Jack Daniel's backed away from a pledge to recognize the Tennessee slave who had taught its founder to distill, a writer came to town and took up the cause. Mementos from the photo album of Annabelle Mammy Green, a granddaughter of Nearest Green, the Tennessee slave who taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey in the 19th century. Nathan Morgan for the New York Times. Roaming horses versus modernity. Since medieval times, the people of Galicia, in northwestern Spain, have ritually rounded up the horses that roam in the wild. But like many traditions, the roundup is colliding with modern rules and sensibilities. Animal rights activists say the ritual mistreats horses. Modern society is losing a way of life that has kept us and animals in harmony, one rancher told our correspondent. A wild foal is caught near the village of Oya, Spain, as part of a tradition called the Rapa das Bestas, capture of the beasts. Samuel Aranda for the New York Times. Have you seen this? 8 little cultural touchstones, including a TV scene, a building, a pizza and a painting, worth your time. Best of late-night TV. Looking to England, Jimmy Kimmel suggested a new title for President Trump. King. Quotation of the day: "After all, it's not what the president thinks or says. America is bigger than that, greater than that." Hani Ali, 35, an accountant from Sudan who was sworn in as an American citizen on Tuesday in Manhattan. This week, Simone Askew, 20, became the first African-American woman to hold the highest student position at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Hilary Swift for the New York Times. Backstory: in This Day in 1930, a dancing frog set a new standard in animation. Fiddlesticks, featuring Flip the Frog, was a standalone cartoon with synchronized sound. Watch it here. Flip the Frog was shorter-lived than Mickey Mouse, but shared some of the same parentage. Music was already widely used to accompany animation. Some of the more laborious animations were even in color. And there had been steps toward combining the two features. In Germany, Lotte Reiniger's character silhouettes of the 1920s used changing background colors to create atmospheric scenes. In the U.S., King of Jazz in 1930 featured a short color animation with synchronized sound. In Fiddlesticks, Flip the Frog tap dances his way through a world of merry animals, but then is moved to tears as he plays the piano alongside a violin-playing rodent that resembles Mickey Mouse. The animation was released by Ub Works, who had helped produce Mickey Mouse, shortly after he left Walt Disney's growing enterprise. The Flip franchise ended in 1933, and Mr. Iwerks returned to work at Disney. But he never stopped innovating. His obituary noted that he invented a panoramic camera arrangement. Imagine his excitement if he could see today's 360-degree cartoons. Patrick Bowler contributed, reporting, _________ photographs may appear out of order for some readers. Viewing this version of the briefing should help. Your morning briefing is published weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern and updated on the web all morning. You can browse through past briefings here. What would you like to see here? Contact us at briefing@newtimes.com. You can sign up here to get the briefing delivered to your inbox. Check out our full range of free newsletters here.